source and destination address protocol and upper layer protocol. So here it works based on your port number. It works on your transport layer. Okay. Even it works based on your protocol, based on your source, and based on your destination. Okay. So where to configure and how to configure. We should do the lab so then you can understand clearly. Reason of creating your ACL. So limited network traffic, right? Increasing network day by day, right? You know, nowadays also per day, as per my knowledge, we'll be having some per day. I think more than 100 SATA bytes per day is increasing. I'm talking about only one network, that is your YouTube. Just imagine other social media and company organizations. Day by day, your data is increasing, right? So to minimize the error, so provide traffic flow control. So make sure that the traffic should be your control. So that make sure that your hard drive will be increased, right? If you keep on dumping your data in your hard drive, right? It increases, right, day by day. So we have to take the which data is allowed and which data should be blocked. You can decide yourself. Okay. Next thing is provide basic level of security for network access. It's a basic level, as I told you. It is not a high security gas, your ACL. It's a basic level security within the organization, within your organization network. Okay, not for the external. Decide what type of traffic you want to forward or block at the router interface. Okay, so you need to decide what you want to block or what you want to deny. For example, permit email traffic to the router, but block the telnet traffic. Okay, you can able to access your internet, but you cannot able to access your telnet. You can able to access the internet, but you cannot access the router to configure. Okay. So if ACL are not configured on the router, all the packet pass through your router will be allowed onto all the parts of the networks. If you are not allowed your ACL, then you can able to access your, as usual, how you have done your routing protocol, right? RAP, OSPF, VHRP, static. Easily they can communicate. So you know, as you know that the day the increase, you are trying to attach your lot of network. So obviously your router traffic also increase, okay, and your hard drive also increase. So you know that we'll be having your servers, okay, backup servers, okay, proxy server, DHCP server, FTP server, okay. So they have different types of servers. So their server drive will be increased, right? So that's the reasons we are using your only internal organization, okay. You follow me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the different types of access list for the telnet. When you configure ISDN, you need to use the access list implemented deny or at the bottom. So especially ISDN means it is for, what is ISDN? Digital network. Yes, good. So why it is used here? It is a service which is used to allow them to access the ISP. It is a line. Okay. So implicitly deny at the bottom. So you can decide. You know, some people they doesn't require internet. Especially if you take about your accounts section, it doesn't require, right? What is the job of the account departments? Just to manage your salaries, your accounts, company revenue. They doesn't require internet. So you have to decide also as per your company requirement. So all the restriction statement should be on the first. Okay, the restrictions can be done by first. What you are going to do? We have same thing. How we are creating DHCP, right? First we are creating pool, right? Then we have to give the access list number. I'll tell you the number range. Okay. Then we have the two types of access list, as I told you: standard access list and extended access list. Keep in mind. So we need to learn all these 3 points. Is very important to better understanding your access list. Okay. The range starts from access list when you're going to configure. Okay. We'll be having 0 to 99 for your standard access list. Within any one of these range, if you give the number, router can understand, means you are going to configure your standard access list. Fine. If you give the range from your 100 to 199, router can understand you are going to configure your extended access list. Fine. So next thing is named access list. Keep in mind, nowadays we are not at all using these two standard and extended. We are using the named access list, okay, which is very helpful. So example, named access list, like we are doing, I think you have done a DHCP, right? So first what we'll do, a DHCP pull and pull name we are giving, right? Same thing here, access list, okay? So access list name, so maybe sales department, okay, R&D department, okay, admin department, okay, network security department. Means you can understand, okay, there is an access list has been upgraded for this router by department security. Then we easily can trace it. By using a number, okay, is very difficult for a network engineer to trace it out. Where it has been blocked. Maybe after a few months, so it has to be allowed, right? So their job, you need to do a lot of work. That's the reasons. So recommended nowadays we are using only named access list. Okay, to configure named access list, you should be very good in your standard and extended ACM. Following us, understood up to here?
How I
I told you, right? So when you use range between 100 to 199, router can understand you are going to configure your extended access list. I will tell you what is standard and extended. Still I didn't explain what is standard and extended. This is a range. So what is talking about? As if now, the third one is not mentioned here. It is a name access list.